What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we are doing the 89th installment of Retro Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing my Gemini Jets 1-400 scale New York Air McDonnell Douglas MD-80. Another Airliners International 2025 acquisition, and this one certainly one I've been meaning to make for a very long time. If you are an American collector, you vividly remember the April 2021 releases, and that was when Gemini Jets released the American Eagle CRJ900 to us collectors, and certainly a huge blessing for us, and what I would argue started the turnaround for the manufacturer and the higher praise that they get nowadays, despite them still having some deficiencies here and there. I think there's been a lot more acceptance of what they're releasing nowadays. And again, there's still a lot of things they have to work out, but I think the position they are in, it is way better than where they were from 2020, early 2021, because there were a lot of issues with the brand, and it's certainly been covered and talked about many times. And obviously there's a lot of differing opinions on the subject, but you know, that's just how it goes. So as always, we go ahead and move into this retro review episode with a look at the box first. Gemini Jets logo, made for collectors by collectors. This is the image of the plane, McDonnell Douglas MD-80, New York Air logo, and of course the flap, which there you see the model inside. And then the aircraft pamphlet, you can pause to read it. And then on the back, this is a 2021 release as mentioned in April. Item number is GJNYA1967. I think I've made the mistake of not reading off the item numbers on the last few Gemini Jets models that I have taken a look at in this series, so it's just, sometimes it happens. This particular model, this is another one of the about 3 or so that I bought off of Bakcha Aviation. Used to be more active with uploads, but hasn't uploaded anything in quite a while, so I'm guessing might have gotten busy, which is understandable, but the videos that he did make a while ago, he had some really good airport updates and those really huge unboxings, and he got quite a lot of models, so when Airliners came around, he brought a big chunk of that collection to sell, and this is one of the models that he had, which I don't remember exactly how much I paid for this. I think it was around like 50 or 60, if I remember right. And also important to note as well, I think this is kind of cool, is that it has this sticker on the side, which is from Sprue Brothers. So that's where Bakcha originally bought the model from, and now it has been passed on to me. So very happy to have this, and like I said, one of the MD-80s I've been meaning to grab for a very long time. Every time I would try to get it, I just couldn't find it anywhere. But thankfully, he had this model at the show, so I picked it up, and now I've got all the MD-80s except the Aeromexico one that Gemini has made since 2021 in 400 scale. So we'll need to get that Aeromexico at some point. That'll be the next one that I'll try to go after. That was in the August 2023 releases. Yes, my memory serves me right there. So to start off, we have the nose cone. There's the anti-glare shield, cockpit windows. There's the strake molded detail. Nose gear door has a fleet code on there, along with the nose gear itself. We move into that L1 door, and then I don't know what kind of cabin New York Air had, if they were like an all-coach/economy, or if they did have some, you know, premium economy or first-class seats up front. I don't know too much about their product. All red aircraft until you move to the New York Air titles around the midsection. There's the overwing exit doors. Markings are also present on there. Rear boarding door also present, along with the extra windows behind it. Registration is November 805, November Yankee. And also to note as well, because someone pointed this out, like back when this got released, is that there is some dent on the engines, which, you know, I can barely tell that they're there, to be totally honest. So, you know, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. It doesn't, you can't really see it from the side. I mean, you're going to look at the model from the side 99% of the time, so I didn't really see much of the case to be made with that dent in the engine, so that's why I kind of ignored that when I initially saw this model come out. And then there's a lovely New York Air tail, which is supposed to be an apple, but it's also shaped in the heart, which I guess was to show their loyalty to the New York area and for their customers. Here's the right side of the aircraft. Not too much to report on here, but there are some luggage doors underneath and back over there as well. You also note that the horizontal stabilizers, they are painted red, which with my red background, it does blend in. So it kind of looks like if you look at it from certain angles, like if I do this, it kind of looks like one of the horizontal stabilizers is missing. So if you look at it there, now it looks like the starboard one has fallen off. It just looks that way because you don't have the little metal part there, the silver paint that shows up unless you put it in the front profile there. But they look like they've been attached pretty well, and they don't have any weird angles or anything like some CRJs have had over the years. Underneath, there's the polished belly, Gemini Jets logo, stand hole, and then the top with no antennas. This is likely a very early produced MD-80. Probably produced before they started actually going crazy with this type. But there should be a beacon light up there, but there are other details printed on the top. So there's the New York Air MD-80, a very lovely model from Gemini Jets, and again, one I've been meaning to get for a long time, so I'm really glad that Bakcha had it at his tables for sale, so thank you again. And hopefully you get back to uploading some videos, because I know there's probably been quite a few people who have been waiting for you to return, so hopefully if you're able to, get a couple videos out, we'd love to see you back on YouTube. So now let's take a look at the real-life aircraft's history. She first flew on June 27th, 1984, and was then delivered to New York Air in August. New York Air merged into Continental Airlines on February 1st, 1987, so she went to Continental from there. She kept the New York Air registration until September 1991, when she was re-registered to November 33805. She stayed with them for about 13-ish years, then she went to Southeast Airlines about a year later in August of 2004. Though Southeast Airlines did not last very long. They actually shut down in November of that same year. So that meant that this aircraft did not last very long with Southeast specifically. But they did start flying in 1999, but were established all the way back in 93, known as Sunjet International, that eventually turned into Southeast by the time they started flying in 99. But they abruptly shut down on November 30th of 2004. They had 2 MD-80s and 8 DC-9s throughout their history, and they actually had a pretty cool livery. Very nice. So maybe somebody... Oh, I guess the logo... this is a photo from the Wikipedia page that I found, so I will put it up on your screen, and I'm sure you could probably tell the similarities with this logo, at least on this particular plane, but I know that National Airlines, they never had the DC-9, so I'm not sure how that logo came to be for Southeast specifically, but I know National had quite a decent presence down in Florida as well. But anyway, I'm getting pretty sidetracked with that. So Southeast shut down in November 2004. The aircraft got stored and was scrapped sometime after that. So that'll do it for this episode of Retro Reviews. One more until number 90. So next week I'll try to see what else I can do for this series and just keep grinding through my Airliners International models, which I've got actually a little bit more than I anticipated. So happy that I've got plenty of retro models to review for this series, and we'll certainly keep moving things along as we head towards number 100, which should be around the end of the year into early next year. So we'll see what we come up with for that special episode. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.